Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a different opinion. I hope everyone has had yet again a lovely day. It is Friday here in Australia and it is beautiful time for the weekend. But I want to jump straight into this one here. I mean, it is from the Daily Mail and it is about the American trucker protest going on at the moment in Oakland, California. And I mean, obviously, we all know California and their stupid laws. I mean, they have pretty much the most expensive fuel in the whole country. They have like the highest tax rates. It's This goes on and on. And I mean, they got Gavin Newsom in charge, which is ridiculous. I mean, he should have been recalled and he wasn't. So obviously that's when all the lefties went a bit crazy and, started calling everyone racist and bigots and, throwing everything around. But I digress. First of all, before we start, if you do like my videos, just leave a like on it. Dislike the videos if you don't like it. Also comment your thoughts. But the main one is just to subscribe underneath the video. It definitely supports the channel, helps the videos get out there. I'll jump straight into this one here. So Daily Mail Australia. California's Port of Oakland shuts for a third day in dispute over California's gig worker law. Supply chain crisis is now set to worsen as stranded container ships aren't able to berth. Truckers protesting a looming California labor law shut down one of the busiest seaports in the United States for a third day in a row. Operations were halted off the Port of Oakland on Wednesday as hundreds of independent big rig truckers picketed gates and blocked other drivers from hauling cargo in and out the terminals at the port. So the truckers are protesting Assembly Bill 5, a gig economy law passed in 2019 that set tougher standards for classifying workers as independent contractors. So obviously for people that do own trucks, right, it is like the independent business because they own the truck. Those trucks are expensive. I mean, some hundreds of thousands, right? Over $100,000. So for them, they pretty much do independent work. So they'll just go, all right, who needs this delivered? All right, I'll do that job for you, blah, 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 charge them money, So individual contracting, which this bill is making harder. I'll jump straight into a little bit more of the bill for you now. So the protesters worry that the law, which would soon put into effect, will impose hefty costs on them that will slash their earnings. Demonstrations began on Monday and has grown larger and more disruptive. Protest organizers say their actions will continue until Governor Gavin Newsom agrees to meet and discuss the issue. When will governors, governments, anyone ever do that? I mean, you look at all the trucker convoys that have happened, right? Canada, who met with them? No one. New Zealand, Jacinda Ardern ain't going to do anything. Australia, we had the Freedom Convoy. You ever see any, someone from the government there? No way. There's no way like Gavin Newsom will ever do anything. These people just hide behind his security and do not care. They don't care who they affect. They just put these bills in place and whoever gets hurt, and they don't really care. The protest in Oakland followed actions last week at the nation's top two seaports in LA and Long Beach, California. The three California ports handle about half of the nation's container cargo volume. That's massive. Wow. Well, hopefully they can shut down the third one too. Why don't people get out there and support them, and it'll be over quicker than Gavin Newsom will go and meet them. So as you can see, a few pretty cool pictures here, just the amount of trucks lined up. That's the port there, just absolutely empty. No one can get in, and then you see here, AB5, Kill My Dream. So that's the bill, Assembly Bill 5, AB5. You can see the truckers here. Good demonstrations. The police are there. Probably never doing anything in California anyway. So the truckers are protesting Assembly Bill 5, AB5, which makes it harder for companies to classify workers as independent contractors instead of employees, who are entitled to minimum wage and benefits such as workers' compensation, overtime, and sick pay. It seems the governor is not concerned about taking American workers' rights away, demonstrator Bill Aboudi, owner of the AB Trucking, told CNBC. So far, there has been no contact with the governor's office. Of course not. They don't care. They don't care about you. It's rules for thee, not for me. These are independent, small businesses that choose to operate their own trucks, and now the right is taken away from them. They do pay taxes. They do have insurance. It's their choice to do that. Yeah, so they don't want to be an employee for someone. They want to be an independent contractor. They want to run their own show. They don't want to be known as an employee of a certain company, which means that they probably won't be able to be an employee of that company as well. So it really constricts the truckers, really. You can't just openly do your logistics as you want. You're stuck to that one company then. California Senator Brian Daly, who is running against Newsom for governor, joined a protest Wednesday and criticized AB5. These guys just want to be free to drive their truck and run their business. But Gavin Newsom, legislator, doesn't see fit to make sure you get your supplies out this port to the store. That's why prices are going up. That's why you can't afford to live in California. I mean, you already can't afford to live in California anyway, unless you're stupidly rich or you live, in not a very good life state. So I'll jump straight into it here. This is, a bit of a protest going on. This is from it. You can see just the amount of trucks supporting this. Got a few things to go through today. I mean, obviously with the Chinese protests as well, which I want to quickly run through on this video as well. But here it is. So, happening in China. This is the difference between, right, China and, in America. I mean, America, you get your protests, right? But then you get your Chinese protests. Tanks deployed by Chinese authorities to stop people withdrawing money from banks. Insane, right? Like, it almost sounds like Canada. You're not even allowed to access your bank account. Chinese authorities have deployed tanks in an attempt to quell significant protests from people unable to take out their savings from crisis-hit banks. The country's Henan province has been rocked by clashes between police and people who have claimed they have not been able to take any money out from local banks since April this year. That's nearly 4 months. You can't even access your bank account, as reported by the Economic Times. Videos posted on social media show tanks on the streets to deter protesters in scenes eerily reminiscent of the unrest in Tiananmen Square in 1989, where Chinese authorities heavily cracked down on student protesters calling for democracy. I mean, we all know how that ended. It was very violent, very, very bad. Beijing government actions caused the deaths of hundreds, if not thousands, of young people, and incidents regularly scrubbed from Chinese social media. I mean, obviously, like, these countries, they scrub anything from history as soon as it makes them look really bad. They just don't talk about it anymore, right? Because they make it illegal. So the recent banking protests were first ignited after thousands of customers opened bank accounts at the banks in Henan and neighboring Anhui province that offered relatively high interest rates. They later found out that they could not make withdrawals after the reports the head bank's parent company was wanted for financial crimes. When depositors tried to go to Zhengzhou in Henan to try to get their money back from the 6 financially troubled rural banks, they were stopped from traveling by COVID-19 health app on their mobile phones, sparking regular protests. So that's the one. I made a video about this earlier, the initial ones. On your app over there, to access any daily things, you either have a red or you got a green. So if you're green, you can actually go to places where you're allowed to go. If it turns red, security people and everything will stop you. You're not allowed to go on public transport. You're not allowed to do your normal God-given right things, to walk around where you want to go, talk to who you want to talk. You can't. Due to the continued protests, financial regulators have promised to give some bank customers their deposits back, which obviously they're not going to. Like, this is the thing. People think that they're going to do this. This is just to keep everyone happy, but you can't even access your bank account for nearly 4 months. I mean, imagine if you had a business, you need to pay your employees. You can't. So here you see a lot of the protests going on. Ooh. The person's getting dragged. Oh no, shirt over the head. Oh, you're done. You can see here. So there was you can see just thousands of people were so people outside the bank. And these people protesting. It turned violent. And they're throwing water bottles and things like that. Of that nature, so it's not nearly as bad as you'd see in America. Here's the police. And now this is, you can see here, some 400,000 Chinese people have been unable to access their bank deposits. Their protests have been met with violence. You could imagine how many angry people there'll be. And this is what it's turned into, right? These are the tanks here. You can see on the streets here. So look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4 tanks, 5 tanks, 6, there's even more. That is just absolutely insane. You know what, there's actually still people out there that think living in China is better than living in Australia or America. They're so caught up that they don't realize how much freedom we have in our countries. Look at that, there's so many tanks backed up. That's ridiculous. That's probably more tanks than Australia has. So China ramps up censorship as protest breaks out across the nation. Chinese censors are removing videos, posts, and hashtags related to protests over mortgage payments from Chinese social network sites such as Douyin and Weibo, according to Reuters. Typical, right? And then we see here as well, fuel price protest planned for Friday, and this is in the UK. So police and everything know about it, so they've put warnings out. But that's just to show you where everything is going. So California, big protest, truckers want their freedom. I don't know why everyone's just absolutely ripping truckers these days. Tanks are deployed in China. And then you have the UK getting ready with their next one. Then you also have the Dutch fighting for their freedom for the farmers. And everyone supports them apart from the government, which is ridiculous. But I'll digress. Let me know in the comments your thoughts. Like the video if you liked it, dislike if you disliked it, and also subscribe if you want to see my future videos. Thanks for watching.